This morning, wherever you are streaming from, we are so glad you are here. For our friends here in the sanctuary, let's take a moment to turn towards the camera near the welcoming congregation banner and offer our friendly greeting through a wave. Hello, friends. And now let's take a moment to turn and greet one another.
Good morning and welcome. My name is Stephen Parapelic. Harris Gibson and I are delighted to be serving as today's worship associates. It's wonderful to be with you this morning, whether virtually or in person. Now, in this sacred space, we come together to explore, question, and reflect on life's mysteries. We draw inspiration from a variety of sources: wisdom from world religions, the insights of science, the arts, and our own personal experiences. Our shared values of trust, compassion, and the interconnected web of existence guide us in our quest for a more just and loving world. Let us remember that each one of us brings a unique perspective and a precious gift to our community. That's why all are welcome here: the joyful, the heartbroken, atheists and Christians, Muslims and Jews, straight and gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, all who are searching, seeking, looking for more meaning, service, and love. May our time together be an opportunity for growth, connection, and deepening our understanding of the world and of one another. Thank you for being part of this community and for enriching it with your presence. And now just a few announcements. After worship, all are invited to coffee and conversation in the Sims room, just behind you. And then also in the Sims room next week, I was asked to make a last-minute announcement that next week is Pie Sunday. So it's already the week before Thanksgiving, and you'll receive an email asking you to bring in a pie for next week. Also, note that we will have a fire drill sometime this fall. If you hear the fire alarms, please leave by the Main Street doors across Main Street and gather at the World War I monument. You may wish to keep your coat close at hand should the fire drill happen on a chilly morning. And today is a special day, a celebration of Diwali. It happens to be the fifth and final, most special day of this festival. It's enjoyed in a number of places and traditions, affirming the prevailing of good over evil and knowledge over ignorance. It is a festival of light, bringing warmth and light to those longer nights. We are especially grateful to WUS members Dr. Suman and Dr. Swati Mukherjee and their sons for co-leading this service. Swati will leave mid-service to join the children in our religious education programs to assist them in Diwali activities. We also thank Dr. Zareen Karani for joining Swati and sharing Diwali with our young friends. And now let us open our hearts and minds to the spirit of worship as Swati leads us in our invocation, a prayer for Diwali.
Goddess, born from struggle between good and evil, guide us toward the light. In a world where plenty is possible, let us end hunger, thirst, and homelessness. In your nurturing hands, let us seek refuge from want, fear, and violence. With your grace, let our world be reborn in your image, where all needs are met, where mortality and love are abundant, and whereby we are free. Happy Diwali.
And I invite Ryan and Neil Mukherjee to light our chalice. The flame we kindle this morning joins flame kindled around the world. In this time of cleansing, of reunion and celebration, the divine light of Diwali spread peace and blessings to all within the circle of its light.
Hi, so I'm going to, it's a turn, okay. I'm not used to doing this. Thank you, Reverend Heather. Before we sing our hymn, I want to give a small introduction about this hymn. So the hymn we are going to be singing, our opening hymn, is hymn number 178. This is an ancient hymn from India, and it was, when I was growing up, what I remember is it was made most popular by Mahatma Gandhi. This hymn talks about Lord Rama, and Lord Rama is a central god to Diwali. You will hear more from Brenna about this today. This hymn also covers the concept of unity, and one of the lines that translates from the Hindi version of this hymn is, people call you, by you, the higher power, by many names. And we ask for the blessing of everyone. By this, it refers to both Ishwar, who's the God for Hindus, and Allah, who's the higher power for Muslims. So it talks about bringing people together. Raghupati Raga, which is the title of this song, of this hymn, it refers to Lord Rama, who comes back home from exile. That's the story we heard when we were growing up as kids, and that led to the celebration of Diwali. And the lyrics are in Hindi and with a little bit of its origin in Gujarati and different languages. So I'll read you the first line, and please, you know, as an Indian person living in the US, do not worry if you're butchering the pronunciation. It's okay. I have done this. I went to a Catholic school, and this is, you know, the Hindi was my third language, so I do it too. So the first line is, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram. So with that, I'd like to invite to join us in Rise in Body or Spirit to sing hymn number 178.
I would like to invite those who are young and young at heart to come forward for a story. Welcome, come on up. So good to see you all. I have something very special to show you, so come close so you can see it. You don't need to come that close. So what I have here is something that Swati, who's sitting right next to me, Swati shared this with me this morning. This was a gift that she received from her cousin, and it is a wax statue of Lord Hanuman. And my story today is about this Lord Hanuman. So I'm going to put him right here in the place of honor as I tell you my story. Okay, so today we're celebrating the Hindu holiday of Diwali, and it's a holiday when Hindus all over the world celebrate the triumph of goodness over selfishness and welcome light and happiness into their homes and families. There are many Diwali stories. I want to tell you one that comes from a Hindu tradition that explains the reason for celebrating Diwali. Other Hindu traditions explain it differently, but they all focus on the idea of the power of goodness, being victorious, and the celebration of the return of light into the world. So this story begins many years before its role as a Diwali story. A man named Rama was a prince of a land called Ayodhya. It's very fun to say, so I want you to say it with me. Ayodhya. Can you say it? One more time. Ayodhya. Okay, I'm going to ask you to say that again, so get ready. All right, Rama was a very good person and also a god. He and his brother Lakshmana were traveling in a foreign land when the king of that land heard about two strangers wandering around with bows and arrows, and he got a little nervous. And he ran to his advisor, Hanuman. Do you remember who Hanuman is? Here's a hint. So Hanuman was a god and general of the monkey army, being half monkey himself. How cool is that? So there's also a picture of Lord Hanuman up on the screen there, if you can see it. So he, I said, was a god and general of the monkey army and half monkey himself. So I want you to give me your best monkey sounds right now. That's pretty good, but I don't hear anybody else out there making monkey sounds. Excellent. That's more like it. Okay. All right. So it's said that Hanuman had superhuman strength, could fly over mountains and jump over oceans. So because he was so powerful, Hanuman disguised himself to approach Rama and Lakshmana because he didn't want to frighten them or make them, think they had to defend themselves. So he dressed as a religious person, someone who would look less threatening than a superhuman monkey god, right? So it's kind of like Reverend Heather here. She's a religious person, right? Does she look threatening? No? Do you look threatening? No? How about now? Okay. So, however, even though he was in disguise, when Hanuman got closer to Rama, something happened inside him and he recognized the goodness of Rama. And before he knew it, Hanuman had told Rama exactly who he was, instead of pretending to be a religious person. He was surprised at first that he confessed so quickly, but then he saw what a nice person Rama was and how good he was, and he promised to be his friend for the rest of his life. And his friendship with Rama did last throughout his life and is a very important part of the Diwali story that I am going to tell you now. Okay, so many years after Rama and Hanuman met, Rama was married to his wife Sita and still a prince in, say it with me, Ayodhya, right. Soon after they were married, though, Rama and Sita, along with Lakshmana, his brother, had to leave home and live in the wilderness. Nearby, there lived King Ravana from Lanka. And Ravana had been hunting in the wilderness, and he saw Sita, and he said, I must have her for my queen. Even though Sita wasn't at all interested in that. So Sita is Rama's wife. Thank you for asking. So one day he made a plan. While Rama and Lakshmana were hunting, King Ravana kidnapped Sita and brought her to his palace. And when Rama and Lakshmana returned, they were so worried about Sita. While they were trying to figure out how to rescue her, guess who appeared? Lord Hanuman, right. None other than Hanuman, the monkey god, and his monkey army. Let's hear those monkey sounds. All right. Perfect. Because he had already pledged his loyalty to Rama, Hanuman immediately got all of his monkey army to help him rescue Sita from the mean king Ravana. The monkey warriors laid down floating rocks. Whoever heard of such a thing, right? Crazy. Down across the ocean that separated the wilderness from Lanka and saved Sita. Rama thanked Hanuman for his amazing help. It was then that Rama decided to return to his home in, say it with me, Ayodhya, so that he could become king. And when the three returned to Ayodhya, the people had heard that they were coming and they wanted to celebrate. They were so happy. So they cleaned out their houses and made beautiful designs on the ground and lit lamps in the windows and the doors and along the roads. The whole country was full of light and happiness. And Rama was the happiest of all to be home with his wife and brother and among his beloved people with his family. So in this story of friendship and family and some pretty amazing monkeys, we can find all of the joy and happiness and love and light that Diwali is all about. So I now invite the grown-ups to sing the children and teachers to religious education. The words are in your order of service.
We now invite you into a centering time in the service. We'll begin with Swati leading us in a Hindu chant. We'll then take part in a ritual, kindling of the light, a time to light a candle here at our candle table or at home to signify a joy, sorrow, or concern you hold within. At that time, if you would like a candle brought to you here in the sanctuary, please raise your hand. In this festival of lights, it is good to kindle the flame. After we kindle the light, we will be together in a time of shared silence, out of which we will remain seated and join in singing hymn 83 in the gray hymnal, Winds Be Still. I now invite Swati to lead us in the meditation.
I welcome you to the spirit of Diwali and to center ourselves. You may have heard of the centering mantra called Om. Om is a sacred sound in Hindu religion. And I often, when I want to center myself or when I want to meditate, I would chant this word and breathe in and breathe out. So I invite you to join me in taking long breath in and a breathe out, and then chant the word Om. Breathe in, breathe out. 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 Om.
Let us now kindle the light.
I grew up in Calcutta, India. Every city or state has their own style celebrating Diwali. One theme is unique. It is a festival of light, symbolizing the victory of light over darkness. In the city of Calcutta, Diwali means worshipping Goddess Kali, fireworks, picnic in the evening with potluck and beverages. To be honest with you, for some grown-up, alcoholic beverages. I grew up in the middle-class suburban neighborhood. Relationship with our neighbors were strong, friendly, and Diwali evening was all about food, get-together, and fireworks. It was a part of the culture to walk to other neighborhoods with our friends to see their pandals. It's a very interesting temporary artistic structure and Goddess Kali inside it. As Diwali celebrates on a dark night, literally moon is very slim and we give diya, the tea light, all over the houses. And beautiful lighting in the neighborhood and in the city. Diwali evening was one of the most fun and welcoming night in the year.
I don't know about you, but I could listen to those chants for hours. Thank you, John. Thank you, choir. What a difference a week makes. Exactly 1 week ago, as I joined the congregation in worship, I was feeling renewed from an annual gift, that extra hour of sleep we receive when we turn the clocks back as part of the practice of daylight savings time. People long ago realized we could maximize farming time and conserve our candle consumption if we turned our clocks forward in the spring and back in the fall by 1 hour. It's a small thing, but for someone whose primary work event takes place on a Sunday morning, this extra hour is nothing short of a blessing. But I've gone through this practice long enough to know that the novelty and joy wears off quickly. Now it is dark when I wake, and it's often dark when I head home after work, and there are other downsides to this time of year. The temperature is finally seasonally appropriate. No matter how many pairs of socks I wear, my feet are always cold. I would not say I'm someone who struggles with seasonal affective disorder, but I would say that I have less energy this time of year. I often feel like the leaves that are around us fading in color with a natural inclination towards withering and hibernation, at least until it gets warm again. In short, my body tells me it is harder when nights are so long. I am so grateful to Zareen, Swati, Suman, Neil, and Ryan, who are generously giving us a gift today, sharing their experiences of Diwali from their time living in India. As Suman invites us into this holiday through his memories of Calcutta, I can imagine it. The lights on a dark, dark night, the decorations, the fireworks, the finery, the gifts, the gatherings, the adult beverages, the wishes and blessings for a happy and prosperous new year. Can you imagine it too? It looks and smells and tastes beautiful. It is a luscious balm for my frost-hardened New England soul. As someone who's never celebrated Diwali, I imagine it's a little bit of solstice with the gift-giving and feasting of Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's Eve bundled all into one. That's a lot of pleasure and joy in just one observance. Have you noticed that in places that have extended hours of night this time of year, people create rituals and celebrations centered on light? The name Diwali references light, deriving from a Sanskrit word meaning row of lights in observance to the practice. I'm grateful to our director of music, John Kramer, who often reminds us as we plan the December holidays that Christmas borrows heavily from solstice. The more I learn about Diwali, the more I understand there is a great adaptation and diversity within the holiday itself, with different traditions, Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, and Sikhs honoring different religious occasions with the same festival. The cynic in me, the sunlight-starved cynic in me, wonders if this is all an elaborate way the ancients coped with days becoming shorter and the natural world wilting that comes with this phenomenon under the guise of honoring Kali, Rama, and Sita. As we explore Diwali, the tradition offers me, a respectful newcomer, 2 lessons. There is a lesson about the intimacy between dark and light, and a lesson about the power of individual and collective intention. When I consider ancient holidays like Diwali and solstice, I am reminded that the concerns of people before me were of greater seriousness than my cold weather blues and chilly feet. When the harvest was complete, survival depended on how well you grew and stored your food in warmer months. And survival depended on how well you could see an animal or human predator stalking you or your stores, which is harder to do in the nighttime. For much of human history, darkness has been a time of greater danger and vulnerability. Perhaps this is why dark is often regarded as a bad thing. I remember a meditation by Unitarian Universalist leader Jackie James. It begins, Black mail, black list, black mark, black Monday, black mood, black-hearted, black plague, black mass, black market. Good guys wear white, bad guys wear black. We fear black cats and the dark continent, but it's okay to tell a white lie. Lily white hands are coveted. It's great to be pure as snow. Angels and brides wear white. Devil's food cake is chocolate. Angel's food cake is white. Beyond many religious reasons to celebrate Diwali and across different traditions, Diwali is, as was named before, a festival celebrating the triumph of good over evil, knowledge over ignorance, and light over darkness. This last theme, light over darkness, does not entirely sit well with me, even though I struggle with the growing nighttime. The more I travel down the path of anti-racism, the more I bristle at cultural connections between darkness and negativity. This ambivalence inspired me to reflect on the message of light over darkness for a while. In the end, I concluded that perhaps festivals like Diwali provide both relief from the emerging dark and a reminder of the gifts of nature's seasons. Again, in the words of Jackie James, we must acknowledge that darkness has a redemptive character, that in darkness there is power and beauty. The dark nurtured and protected us before our birth. Welcome, darkness. Don't be afraid of it or deny it. The dark of winter is a time of hibernation. Seeds grow in the dark, fertile earth. Imagine a world that had only light or dark. We need both, dark and light, light and dark. Today on Diwali, the words that come to me are not so much about light prevailing over darkness, but darkness and light reminding us of their presence and power in the world. Each year at solstice, intellectually, I know that spring will come again, but the primal part of me is afraid that there will only be darkness. Observances like solstice and Diwali remind us that all things are temporary. In time, we will find balance again. And in the meantime, we can create that sense of balance together. Darkness is also a harbinger of light and life. I remember when many of us were reeling in the wake of our nation's definitive step towards authoritarianism with the 2016 presidential election. Sikh progressive activist Valerie Carr offered us an important and insightful question. What if the darkness of the tomb is really the darkness of the womb? Darkness invites us to ask what is about to be born. The other lesson Diwali offers me is about intention. It's demonstrated by millions the world over. When it is dark, you can light a clay oil lamp and through our intention and actions, create that balance in the world we seek. I remember reading an article in the newspaper a long time ago. It was from the newspaper after all. It referenced a kind of worm that lives at the bottom of the ocean so far down that the species never experiences sunlight. But the worm, like other creatures that can produce bioluminescence, thank you, Google, can create its own light when the environment does not provide it. Perhaps we are like these dark-dwelling sea creatures, moved to create our own light in times of darkness, moved to celebrate as we approach scarcity, moved to create community when temperatures inspire us to stay indoors, moved to embrace color and decoration when nature's color fades to brown and the plants turn to compost. Of course, we can each do this on our own, but it is so much more meaningful, more joyful when your neighborhood, your nation, your faith tradition, the world gets in on the act. I remember meeting with fellow Unitarian Universalist ministers in a past December. The gathering had a practical purpose of sharing resources, as most of us were in the midst of creating early winter celebrations. But this was also a time for us to celebrate together, as if you're leading the celebration, you aren't experiencing the celebration as a participant. At one point in our conversation, we tried to find language to describe the season we are approaching, with so many light-centered holidays from different traditions. One person said it best in reference to the menorahs and the garland and the lights glowing all around us. We make the world beautiful for each other. If nothing else, Diwali reminds us of what is possible through collective human intention. Together, we can make the world beautiful for each other. If you have any doubt after worship, I invite you to look at the decorative designs our children are creating in the parking lot. Traditionally, these designs, called rangolis, are created at the doors of people's homes on Diwali and other Hindu festivals. But through care, focus, and creativity, a practical place, like a parking lot, will be transformed. The ancients bestowed upon us many traditions. People long ago passed down the practice of daylight savings time, something that we still follow, even though most of us are not farmers and are not all that worried about our candle consumption. But we've also received the legacy and the wisdom of traditions that move us to come together in community, to kindle connections between us and illuminate the night at times when seasons are long and stark. We've been bequeathed holidays that inspire us to make the world beautiful for each other. Considering all that is happening in the world right now, I think creation of abundant beauty is certainly in order. It is rare that I aspire to be like a bottom-dwelling sea worm, but as my body feels its seasonal fatigue and the days grow shorter, it is good to be reminded that we can create light from within. And we can create light together, not just through lighting a clay pot or kindling a chalice, but through igniting the fires of our spirits through food and celebration and finery in honor of an ancient religious story, or simply the story of needing to meet a dangerous world with the brightness of human goodness and hope for the seasons to come.
Our shared values of compassion and justice guide us in our commitment to support one another and those in need. Your generous contributions to our community help sustain the mission and foster understanding by embracing diversity and creating a more just and compassionate world. This morning, we share our gifts with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, whose mission is to advance human rights and social justice around the world, partnering with those who confront unjust power structures and mobilizing to challenge oppressive policies. Their work is grounded in the belief that all people have inherent power and dignity. Here are the different ways you can donate. Those in the sanctuary may give cash, checks, or donate electronically. Text to the number in your order of service or visit our website under the Giving page. If you are visiting for the first time, either in person or online, you are our guest. In-person attendees can find a physical visitor card in the pew racks in front of you. Please complete it and put it in the collection plate. Information about how to give online and how to complete the virtual visitor card will soon be shared with live stream attendees on their screens. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received.
Those who wish to do so are invited to join in the unison affirmation. We gather not for ourselves alone, but to use our common powers to build the beloved community within and beyond these walls. We create and reaffirm this covenant this day to make justice flourish, to practice compassion amidst differences, and to embody transformative love. Please rise and body our spirit to join in singing our closing hymn, number 118 in the Great Hymnal, This Little Light of Mine.
May each little light join to fill our nights with hope. May we be charged by this light. May we be known by this light. And may each one of us be blessed by this light. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Please join me and Harris and Suman by reciting the words together for extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. This service has ended, but our life of service continues. Let's have some fun in the Sims room.